Tavex, purity becoming one. Tavex, purity becoming one. Thank you for coming and joining with me this late night. Hey, what's all these beautiful flowers in the back? Because what I'm talking about is beautiful. Glad you guys joining me. I know it's a late night. I was planning maybe to do a video similar to this. My cheat notes, front and back. Those who have AD and start scratching, I ain't gonna read a whole chapter, but all these verses are gonna be like I read a whole chapter. So if you got some itchy, like, oh shit, he's reading a chapter, leave the room now at 49 seconds. Go. This is for the people that got 2 feet in, 10 toes down. They know what time we're living in. They know what time it is. It's not for the faint of heart. Leave now. But for my brothers and sisters who truly love the Most High, who have undivided loyalty to Most High, to glory in their devotion to the Most High, has a spirit like Caleb in Numbers 14. Caleb, my servant, had a different spirit. He followed me fully. All those on the old path, Jeremiah 6:16, ask for the old path, which is the good way, and walk therein. Those that have on the doorpost of their mind, where you read in Deuteronomy chapter 6, it's called the Shema. And, they instruct the Israelites to they call it in modern terms a mezuzah, to put it on your doorpost, because it says, and I'm paraphrasing in Deuteronomy 6, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Love him with all your heart, with all your strength. Recite the law on your mind all the time. Teach it to your children and put it on the doorpost of your house. In modern Hebrew, people don't come out, hey, talking Yiddish and little mixed with Hebrew. Listen, Zephaniah 3, in that day, not this day, in that day, it's talking about the end. He's going to restore to Israel a true tongue and a true speech so we can invoke his name the correct way. So apparently we're still not doing it excellent. So I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to do what I know, and the Most High created everything, knows everything, so he knows what I'm saying. But I'm saying it not in the English tongue that's my home tongue that I know. I'm going to say it in the so-called Hebrew tongue, modern. Shema Israel, Ye Eloheinu, Ye Ahad, Ve'ahabta et Ya Elahabka. Bikol Lababka Uptikol, Nefashka Uptikol Mordecai, Ve'ayu Habadarim, Edale Asher Nuk Mishapka Hayom Lababka. That was Deuteronomy 6. You can look it up for yourself. Those flowers, it shows the beauty, the awesomeness of the Most High. And I'm sharing it with you. So let's sit back. This one, I will not tell you, it's going to be a quick one. I'm not going to tell you that. And you tell me if the Most High deserves a quick one. I'll wait. And I'm going to do it as the Most High instructs me to do it, as it comes to me, because this is just chicken scratch. And it's front and back too. Because when you're talking about the Creator, when you're talking about the Ancient of Days who comes in the clouds, the high and lofty one whose name is holy, who abides in eternity. Yes, you are the Creator alone. There's none that sits with you. There's none that reigns with you. You share your glory with no one. You created the visible and invisible of everything, every place, everywhere, every time. Period of time. Because there's no time exists with him. Time exists with us. Flesh. Dust. So are we going to give him a short one for those that start to get the itchy? I have some calamine lotion. If you want, give me your address, I can mail it to you so you can stop itching. Or the other option, don't let the door hit you in the ass. But this one is going to take whatever time it does take. Hopefully you guys can stay in here with me. I know somebody else that knows that Shema. I think it's biblically vestical. think he knows that Shema in the modern Hebrew. Anyway, and this one is going to be what is going to be. I brought me my thyme and basil herb water. I'm drinking it because I'm gonna need it because this may be a little long one. Maybe not. It's not gonna be that long. You're not gonna be like put on your pajamas, putting the pillows, and start to go to sleep. But we're gonna go over some stuff, and then you got to bear with me because I got to flip through this tonight, and I'm not the fastest verse flipper. We all can't do everything good. So I'm not that one. But we're going to do it anyway. Listen, we have 5 minutes, 49 seconds. Let me see who's in the room. We'll just give a couple more minutes because this video, it's not a request video, but it's a video that I know all different type of people going through stuff. I go through stuff. I'm going through stuff too. But somebody reminded me of the word stoic, which is a video that I made. Show no expression. Like, have no fear, show no expression, don't complain, keep it moving, and know that he lives. Remember Psalm 121, despite how it looks. He said he's going to be our helper, protector. He's not going to let our feet slip to the left or the right. He's the one doesn't slumber or sleep. We got to rest on that. Even though I know it's easier said than done, but that's what we got to do because we're in a test. Some of you guys think this is like vacation, vacation time. Well, from all my reading in the Tanakh, this is test time. And usually tests involve a little stress. So if you got some stress in your life, you should know why. Some anxiety in your life, you should know why. Because when you're taking a test, that involves all that. You got to sit still. When you're going through adversity, Most High is trying to get your ass to sit still. You want to keep moving and fidgeting. Sit still. When you're in a classroom, you can't get up and walk around, fidget around. You got to sit at your desk and take the test. Don't be copying off the people in front of you, the sides of you, the back of you. You got to stay focused through your test. And this video is linked to you taking your test. Because sometimes you forget. This video, I want to help you to remember. All right, so we're almost at 8 minutes. Let me see who's in the room. Maybe it's going to be a small room anyway. But yeah, look at Anuha, Glory 8, Young King, Shark Tank. I didn't even see you in the house. I said that. I said, all right, listen, we're going to stay to the 9-minute mark, which is in about 45 seconds, and then we will begin with the small. And remember, the remnant is always small. The remnant is always small. People will watch this on a later broadcast, and just because there's only you guys in here doesn't mean that there's not 50 other people watching. They just don't type text and wrench people out of here. You guys are the superstars to do that. So, and forgive me too, I got tiny chicken scratch. So I gotta eat, but this is my writing. I thank the Most High. I'll be out in the house. Stop X. Okay, we're gonna start now. Again, this video was inspired because I talked to a few people throughout the day. And one stood out to me, or two stood out to me. And then the idea of the video came in my mind. I said, you know what? I wasn't planning to do it. That's why I'm doing it late. And, I asked the Most High be with me with my fingers and the pen on my paper with chicken scratch and do what he does best, which is everything. Believe the unbelievable Israelites. Believe the unbelievable Israelites. Most of us want this to true, Most of us want to truly believe if we see this thing, and it's called the epiphany. The epiphany. Yeah, that's what it is. Excuse me, because I don't use that word a lot. Epiphany. 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 Something like that. Epiphany. It is a visible manifestation to humankind. Epiphany. It's a visible, you can see with your eyes, a manifestation from on above or on a spiritual level to mankind. And that's what a lot of you guys, not all, but a lot of you guys want to really believe. And you know how I've been saying on these videos, at the Hebrew on the Island Law School, because this is a law school. He ain't gonna give you, you ain't in charge. Isaiah 45, how dare you tell him you should do it this way, you should do it that way, you should do it this way so I can really believe. So when, when trials and tribulations and bad things come to my life, I won't be shaken so much. Give me an epiphany, a visible manifestation to humankind, to my eyes. I'm supposed to be your son, and for you women, your daughter, from your chosen people group. Give me an epiphany. Epiphany. Give me one of them. So just solidify. And he's saying no to you. Apparently, if you asked for it and you didn't see it, I'm telling you the answer at Hebron Island too. Law school. He ain't giving it to you. Because he wants you to be a different type of Israelite. He don't want you to be one of the 600,000 that didn't make it into the promised land and left Egypt. He wants you to be a different one. He wants you to be like a Caleb type. Caleb, my servant, had a different spirit. He followed me fully, whether he saw an epiphany or not. Oh, how can I believe it? I haven't seen none. Where's the results? And the results is the test. It's testing your heart. Like he made them hunger in the wilderness for a while, and then he fed them manna. Test to see what's in your heart. All you people, a lot of you people are like eye-driven, visually driven. I don't see it, man. I don't see no fruits or no resolution in this situation in my life, that situation in my life, this situation in my life. So I guess it's not happening. So my belief, my faith, my knowing is teeter-tottering. Not here at Hebrew on the Island too. Stop. It's really no more time to believe. It's time to know. You see what time we're living in. See all the plagues and all this stuff. I ain't even quoting you what time. Oh, no, I'm not giving you a time. I'm saying we are in the season of Jeremiah 30, Jacob's trouble. Whether it's before it, getting ready to start, or we're in the beginning of it, whatever. It doesn't matter. But we're in a season of change. And the change that you have never seen before. And remember, Daniel 9, he said, I'm going to do to this people Israel what has not been done in the earth. And it's involved this whole earth story. See all these plagues and the fire, smoke outs in New York, and all type of insect plagues and crazy shit, snowball hails and all that. Remember the Most High, Malachi 3, Most High changes not. And the thing is, you guys sometimes forget. That's why I'm making this video today. Believe the unbelievable Israelites. Now is the time, Israelites. We must break away from our past doubts, whether they're big or small. We need to leave the matrix, which is it might be in our minds and what we truly believe, in our attitudes of knowing, while the majority of the earth don't believe and think we are living and thinking in fairy tale land when it comes to this and all the miraculous things that is in here that we bypass, we speed read over by, we go, yeah, okay, because you really don't believe. Your belief is not like Caleb. It's not strong. And here at Hebron Island too, I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to inch you. I can't change you. because the Most High picks whoever he's going to pick. But if he's using me as a tool to nudge you or turn a light on in the thick rock you got up there, then that's what I'm here to do. You know, but you know what? At this point in time, whether it's pre-Jacob's trouble, the beginnings of Jacob's trouble, isn't it time to believe the unbelievable? I am here to make you remember, to have you remember who you are dealing with and who you are worshiping, reverencing, extolling, magnifying. It's the one in Exodus 3:14 who told Moses to tell Pharaoh, tell him to release my people so they can come worship me. My name forever is I am that I am, or I will be. I.s.u.p.k. Don't get caught up on, hey, you're speaking modern. The Most High, it's not the time. He's going to restore the correct. He knows everything. He knows what I'm saying when I say I.s.u.p.k. You don't, but he does. Let's begin. Let's begin. I'm here to make you remember. Believe the unbelievable. And you know when you start to believe the unbelievable? When you look at the subject matter. And the subject matter is the Ancient of Days. The high and lofty one, whose name is holy, who abides in eternity. Who's the most highest? Who's the Redeemer? Who's the Savior? Who's the Creator? Who's the Maker? When you start remembering and truly having faith and devotion into the only Creator, the only Savior, the only God, the only Lord, found in Exodus 3:14, then you will start to believe the unbelievable. So when you see things happening on the earth, you see them. I don't have to name them. People text me all the time, showing me videos of this, showing me videos of that. Things going on in the earth, crazy. You know, I was talking to somebody, let me just throw this in because I already forgot. I was talking to this one Hebrew, one of my subscribers. And you know what I said? You know, to a regular person, which is the majority of the earth, because the Most High has a chosen people group. They are the Israelites, the Negro types. Not all Negroes are the same. They're the Negro types who suffer the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, who are scattered all around this earth, who only suffer those curses. We're the poster child of them and nobody else. We're the most hated in earth. I go to China, you go to China, Japan, Australia, Europe, and all places, they hate us for nothing. So when I see me or I see you, I believe the unbelievable. You'll find out in the end. But anyway, to get back to what I was talking to one of my subscribers, I was like, because I believe the unbelievable. You see all this stuff. But listen, I'm not going to tell you that story, but people on this live chat know, yo, I experienced evil spirits a long time ago when I was a Christian. I actually seen them in the doorway, black, just shadow figure, giant, telling me they're going to kill me, like through telepathy. I see stuff. On my job, I see crazy stuff like that. I ain't going to tell you what type of job I had. But maybe you know why I needed some muscles, because I had some crazy type of job. And I see some crazy stuff. So I believe in spirits and stuff like that, evil. And I know it only comes from one. Isaiah 45:7, the Most High says, I form the light, I create darkness, I make peace, I create evil. I, the Most High, do all these things. When you read Amos 3:6, he says, if there's evil in any city, haven't I done it? He says, I send evil spirits. When you read 1 Kings 20:20, when you read 1 Samuel chapter 16, when you read 2 Chronicles chapter 18, when you read Psalm 78, he sends the evil spirits. When you read Deuteronomy 32, he says, I will vindicate my people. I'm the one that does vengeance. He's the king of terror in Job. So you don't have to fear. No harm will come to you unless he consents to it in Isaiah 54. So I don't fear none. I live by myself. The majority of the time, by myself. When I was young, I was scared to death, but not now, because I believe the unbelievable. When are you going to believe the unbelievable? When you start believing in the one true and only creator, savior, God, Lord, helper, provider, sustainer, rock, then you will believe the unbelievable. So I was telling this person, right? I was telling this person, yo, if the Most High is kind and generous to me to allow this non-perfect slipper falling off the horse every once in a while, but a Hebrew Israelite that loves them to death and wants to be appeased and wants to be a friend like a new Yah wants to be his friend every day. I don't want to be his enemy. I've read this. I see what he does to his enemy. I don't want to be him. I would be his friend. I practice every day to be his friend. And I get on my knees and I pray and say, Most High, please forgive me for my imperfections. Have sin not dominate me, for then I will be blameless and clear of grievous offenses. Because I don't want to be his enemy. So I was talking to this one subscriber. I was like, if I make it into the kingdom, under King David, we're gonna be hooked up now. We're gonna have the slaves, which is these demon, heathen Gentiles and Esau serving us as servants and handmaidens. Isaiah chapter 14. He said, I'm gonna have mercy on Jacob, and yet you choose Israel, send them in their own lands, and the strangers that are with them, he says, we're gonna take them to our places in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaidens. We're going to take them captives, who captives we were. We're going to rule over our oppressor. That's what's going on. They don't read that in church because they're trying to say, the church and the Gentiles of Israel. No, you're not. Most High, Malachi 3 says, this shows where your level of Hebrew knowledge is. Shows your level of what you call the Old Testament is called the Tanakh. Malachi 3, he says, the Most High changes not, and Israel has not ceased to be. So the Israelites back then is the Israelites now, and he's bringing those old good Israelites back too in the end. After we come out of that wilderness and being smelted like iron. We're still here. And you should get a glimpse of it. It ain't gonna be the heathens that watching Beyonce all day and Netflix that don't have a clue with what's going on in the world when it comes to the Tanakh. It ain't gonna be all the Messianics and Christians who have another God. Who, when you read Exodus 22, it tells you in the law, they say they know the law. Apparently, their actions show that they don't know the law. Exodus is the second book in the scriptures, in the law. And it says in Exodus 22, it says, if by chance any of you sacrifice to any other God, say, and I'm paraphrasing, save the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The one in Exodus 3:14 who told Moses to tell Pharaoh, I am that I am, who said, my name is I am that I am, or I will be forever. If you serve any other God, you will be proscribed. It says proscribed in the KJV and other. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to be grounded into bone dust for eternity and burn. Like that burning bush, like the Nuhat says there. Just keeps burning. Or you guys are going to be toast. So anyway, I was talking to the subscriber. I'm sorry it's taking long, but I told you it's going to be a different video. So I said to this person, I said, if the Most High is gracious to me and let me get into the new kingdom, I would like cool house in a cave, like the whole cave is my castle type house. I want a house. This is just dreaming. You guys dream about riches on the earth. You guys dream about having the best job, big bank accounts, whatever you guys dream about. I don't dream about it. I dream about kingdom, me entering the kingdom. Just me making it through this test. But my real life, is to truly live and be blessed. You read in Deuteronomy 30, is to keep the fear of the Most High and keep his commandments. So I ain't truly living my regular life here, or you living. You truly living when you fear the Most High, keep his commandments. And then the reward is when we get to that new kingdom. So I dream. I dream I want a cool ass house in a cave. The whole cave is a house that's cool as hell with sunlight beaming down. I want, when you go to those Asian type islands and you got just rocks coming out of the ocean, but it's like a rock mountain, and I want a castle on there, and I want that for a special reason too. and on an island in the Arctic, I want all the places, all the nice places. I want one house, castle house. And then there's something else I be saying. I want, where everybody wants, I want a couple type of pets. But one of the unusual pets that I speak about, is I want some dragons. Fire-breathing, flying dragons. I want them. And so I say, are you crazy? You live in a fairy tale land. That's why I titled it, Believe the Unbelievable. I seen them spirits choking me out when I was a Christian, and this and that, this and that. Yo, this shit is real. Just because in our physical realm that we only got 3 dimensions and stuff like that, don't think that there's no more dimensions. Your mind is just limited on Netflix. And if you haven't experienced nothing, the Most High close your mind, because in Isaiah 44, he says, for they have not known or understood. He said, I close their eyes so they can't see and their ears so they can't hear. So I know there's more dimensions, and I know there's other places, other planets, but they ain't planets. It's just this flat earth, and it just goes on. You have to keep going straight, and you're going to go into other realms. And just because I don't see it doesn't make it's not true. You are just limited, and you don't believe. You don't believe in the unbelievable. And look what's happening now. The earth is being destroyed purposely. The Most High is engineering it that these demons break it down and do such bad things to the world and to you, so that he could crush them in front of you, where you couldn't crush them. Like, I can't, I think I'm strong or whatever. I can't crush him. He wants all the credit. He says in Isaiah 42, he said, I don't give my glory to no one or my praise to any idols, nothing. He gets all the praise and glory. So he's building them up so powerful, but we can't escape. We got to fall prostrate on the ground to ask to be rescued. He said he's going to rescue us. He said he's going to gather us up and rescue us. He said he's going to pick us up one by one. In Isaiah chapter 17. Jeremiah 3, he says he's going to pick us up, 1 from a clan, 2 from a town. One of those things, or 1 from a town, 2 from a clan. One of those things. I got nothing to worry about. Just endure the test. Yes, it's going to be hard. I know what some of you guys want me to say, that it's going to be easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. I'm telling you now, it's not going to be a cakewalk, because it's a test. Study, devotion, undivided loyalty is needed to see where your heart lies. That's the test. And epiphany, what is it? Yeah. Epiphany, you want it. Well, I want to see something real. He ain't going to show it to you because you asked him for it. And even if you didn't ask for it, he still ain't going to show it to you. He wants you to see it. He wants you to see it in your mind and your heart without actually seeing it physically. I see the new kingdom, not totally, but like in cloudy, like it's going to be like low. I can't even describe it. That's why I want dragons. I love unusual things. Like my mirror behind me is unusual. I got a lot of unusual little tiny knickknacks that are just temporary. I like the unusual. So in the new kingdom, while everybody's getting a dog, a chihuahua, a poodle, a pit bull, cane corso, he brought an island to a new Yeshua Israel. I want not just one, I want a couple fire-breathing, flying, big-ass dragons that can fly on it and burn a couple heathen up when the Most High sends me, like, yo, he acting up. That's what I want. I want him to land. I want him to act like a dog. Come here. Here's some whatever you eat. All right. Put me up on your back. Let me strap in so when you do it flips, I won't fall off at 15,000 feet. I am fairy tale. I know you Torah Tanakh Israelites, you you crazy niggas believing in dragon. Yes, I do. Because Most High is unbelievable. And that's what I'm here to make you remember. All right, let me get back to this. Listen, I didn't even start the video yet. Woo-wee. I didn't even start the video. Let me take some of this thyme and basil and, what is that? What is that? Thyme, basil, and parsley water. With a little mandarin orange tinge on it. Okay, let's begin. Those who are itchy, leave the room now. Because if you thought that what I was just saying was a video, you're sadly mistaken. I am here to make you remember, to have you remember who you are dealing with and who you are worshiping, reverencing, extolling, magnifying Israelite. Let me bring this fan a little close because it's hot in the Dominican Republic, even though it's night. Okay, that's a little better. Let me turn to Genesis chapter 1. And I'm gonna be flipping through a lot of chapters. You know, you don't have to take notes. Take notes, watch it again. I know people that watch my video 2 and 3 times. So watch the video, take notes. Believe the unbelievable. Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 to 27, but we ain't reading all that because I got too many to read. When God began to create heaven and earth, the earth began unformed and void with darkness over the surface of the deep. And a wind from God sweeping over the water, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water." God made the expanse, and it separated the water which was below the expanse from the water which was above. That's the firmament. I'm reading the firmament to you. Believe the unbelievable, because most of the world don't believe there's no firmament up there. Believe the unbelievable Israelite. God called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning a second day. God said, "Let the water below the sky be gathered into one area, that the dry land may appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of water he called seas. And God saw that this was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, seed-bearing plants, fruits, trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, seed-bearing plants of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seeds in it. And so when you're eating those fruits and plants and seeds, vegetables without seeds, you know something's up. Know that there's devil play going on. And God saw that this was good, and there was evening, and there was morning the third day. God said, "Let there be light in the expanse of the sky to separate day from night. They shall serve as signs for the set times, the days, and the years, and they shall serve as lights in the expanse of the sky to shine upon the earth." And it was so. God made 2 great lights, the greater light to dominate the day, and the lesser light to dominate the night and the stars. And I'm going to leave it there. You got the picture. You got the picture. Believe the unbelievable. His greatness is crazy. When do you talk about this? Even on my channel, I don't talk about it that much because, I'm trying to get the law into you and stuff like that. But just like I'm here to have you remember, I need to remember the greatness, the supremeness, the ultimateness of the creator of the heavens and earth. You do too. And then you will start to believe the unbelievable, to know there's nothing impossible. He says in Jeremiah 32, "I created all flesh." Jeremiah 32, "I created all flesh. There was nothing too hard for me." That's when you believe the unbelievable. Come with me to Genesis chapter 25, 21. Genesis 25, 21. Remember, I'm flipping, so bear with me. 25, 21. And when they dug another well, they disputed over that well. Wait, no, Lord, and us ample space. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. 21 homeless. Nope, I gotta pass that one up. Sorry. You know, because I was writing this little faster than normal. 22. Okay, hold on. Just give me patience. Yeah, everything ain't gotta be perfect. Everything ain't perfect. Your co-health is not perfect, especially when I'm rushing. That first one was a doozy, Genesis chapter 1. And I made a mistake in the second one. But this it's not a show, but the Most High's earth plan must go on. Hold on. Okay. I made another boo boo. Forgive your Kohelet. Boy. Yo, when you do live, listen. And this just shows that, you know, we all are in a learning curve. We all do things not correct. Even your Kohelet does it. I slip up sometimes. I make mistakes. You see them live. Yeah, I got this one right. Okay, let's look at this. Believe the unbelievable. When when you read things like I'm going to read to you tonight, when you read things like this, you got to believe the unbelievable because in your natural sense, like if you were stuck in this matrix or think like Esau and the heathens, you say, that's a fairy tale, but not for the Israelites. Judges chapter No, what am I talking about? Hold on. I don't know what, Russian, I kind of, I was getting ready to read that one. Listen, I was getting ready to read you a Judges, and that was one there too, but that's not what I wrote down. Today is a crazy day, but I will get it right. You see my frailness. 6:20. Okay. Joshua chapter 6, I'm going to start verse 16. Joshua chapter 6, verse 15. On the seventh day, they rose and daybreak and marched around the city, talking about Jericho, in the same manner 7 times. That was the only day that they marched around the city 7 times. On the seventh round, as the priest blew the horns, Joshua commanded the people, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and everything in it are to be proscribed and is destroyed for the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot is to be spared, and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers we sent. But you must beware of that which is proscribed, or else you will be proscribed. If you take anything from that which is proscribed, you will cause the camp of Israel to be proscribed, destroyed. You will bring calamity upon it. All the silver and gold and objects of copper and iron are consecrated to the Lord. They must go into the treasury of the Lord. The walls of Jericho coming down. Believe the unbelievable. You tell that to your neighbor, your coworker, or person down the street from you. You're crazy. So they're gonna shout 7 times and walls are gonna fall down. You Nickies are crazy. Take your Prozac today. Hold on. Keep going. We get see if I can redeem myself. Um, Genesis chapter 8. Genesis, Genesis chapter 8. And when the waters had swelled on the earth 150 days, God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to blow across the earth, and the water subsided. That was Genesis chapter 8. That's an example of to believe the unbelievable, that water could take over the whole earth. Number one, it's not a spinning ball, because water won't stay on a ball anyway. You guys are so bottom feeders with knowledge and so stuck in the matrix. Believe the unbelievable, that the creator of the heavens and earth flooded the earth because of the wickedness. And he had the winds come to abate the water right off the earth after the punishment was done. Believe the unbelievable. Now I'm going to get to another one. Bear with me. We're going to go to Deuteronomy. Remember, I'm flipping pages. And you get caught in between some of the pages. Now let me start. I'm going to read Deuteronomy chapter 2 to verses, let me see. I'm going to read some of it. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 2. Thus, after you had remained in Kadesh all that time, we marched back into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of the Reeds, as the Lord has spoken to me, and skirted the hill country of Seir a long time. Then the Lord said to me, you have been shirking this hill country long enough now. Turn north and charge the people as follows. You will be passing through territories of your kinsmen, the descendants of Esau who live in Seir. Though they will be afraid of you, be very careful not to provoke them, for I will not give you of their land so much as a foot can tread on. I have given the hill country of Seir as a possession to Esau. What food you eat, you shall obtain from them for money. Even the water you drink, you shall procure from them for money. Indeed, the Lord your God has blessed you in all your undertakings. He has watched over you wandering through this great wilderness. Your God has been with you these past 40 years. You have lacked nothing. Believe the unbelievable. We then moved on away from our kinsman, Esau. God has been with you these past 40 years. Their clothes didn't even wear out. Believe the unbelievable. And remember the plagues he put on Egypt, which you guys are seeing right now. Some people just say flies, mosquitoes, gnats, locusts, hail, windstorms and crazy stuff. Malachi 3:6, the Most High changes not. Some of the plagues, water turned to blood. I believe that happened because I believe the unbelievable. The frog plague, I believe the unbelievable. The lice plague of Egypt, I believe the unbelievable. Lice are everywhere. I believe it all throughout Egypt. I believe it. Flies, livestock, all diseased and dying. I believe the unbelievable. Boils on all the Egyptians. I believe the unbelievable. Thunder and hail. I believe the unbelievable. Locusts everywhere. We got locusts now all over the place. I believe the unbelievable. Believe the unbelievable. Darkness for 3 days. I believe. And that darkness is a thick darkness. Not you thinking that's darkness means just go outside. No, darkness we can't even see a hand right 1 centimeter from your nose. Death of the firstborn. These are the plagues in Egypt. I believe the unbelievable. All right, hold on. Let me go down. Hold on. Exodus 14, verses 21 to 31. Then Moses held out his arm over the sea, and the Lord drove back the sea with a strong east wind all that night and turned the sea into dry ground. The water was split, and the Israelites went into the sea on dry ground, the water forming a wall for them on their right and on their left. The Egyptians came in, pursued after them into the sea. all the Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen. At the morning watch, the Lord looked down upon the Egyptian army from a pillar of fire and cloud and threw the Egyptian army into panic. He locked the wheels of their chariots. See, you don't even realize that because you haven't read that story because you was reading too much in the KJV. Now, when you read it in the Tanakh, it says, at the morning watch, the Lord looked down upon the Egyptian army from a pillar of fire and cloud and threw the Egyptian army into panic. He locked the wheels of their chariots so that they moved forward with difficulty. And the Egyptians said, let us flee from the Israelites, for the Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. I believe the unbelievable. That's what I'm reading. I want you to remember. That's why I'm reading this. Let's go to Daniel. Okay, hold on. Bear with me. I'm flipping. I'm only going to read a little bit of it. There's a lot of it, and I don't want to read all of it because we got a lot to still go over. Daniel chapter 3. King Nebuchadnezzar made a statue of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits broad. He set it up in the plains of Dura in the provinces of Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar then sent word to gather the satraps, prefects, governors, counselors, treasurers, judges, officers, and all the provincial officials to attend the dedication of the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. So the governors, counselors, treasurers, judges, officers, and all the provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up and stood before the statue that Nebuchadnezzar set up. The herald proclaimed in a loud voice, you are commanded, O people and nations of every language, when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, psaltery, bagpipe, and all the type of instruments to fall down and worship the statue. Gold King Nebuchadnezzar set up. Whoever will not fall down and worship shall at once be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. And soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, pipe, the lyre, and the other type of instruments, all people in the nations of every language fell down and worshipped the statue of gold that the king Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Seizing the occasion, certain Chaldeans came forward to slander Jews. They spoke up and said, King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. You, king, gave an order that everyone who hears the horn, pipes, bagpipes, all type of instruments must fall down and worship the golden statue. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom you appointed to administer the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those men pay no heed to you, O king. They do not serve your God or worship the statue of gold that you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in a raging fury, ordered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be brought. So those men were brought before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spoke to them and said, is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my God or worship the statue of gold that I've set up? Now, if you are ready to fall down and worship the statue that I have made, when you hear the sound of the horns, lyres, bagpipes, and other types of instruments, well and good. But if you will not worship, you shall at once be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. And what God is there that can save you from my power? I believe in the unbelievable, Israelite. O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter, for if so it must be, our God whom we serve is able to save us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will save us from the power, O king. But even if he does not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your God or worship the statue of gold that you have set up. That is the poster child of having undivided loyalty to the Most High, Joshua 24. Nebuchadnezzar was so filled with rage at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that his visage, his face was distorted, and he gave an order to heat up the furnace to 7 times his usual heat. He commanded some of the strongest men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to throw them into the burning fiery furnace. So these men in their shirts, trousers, hats, and other garments were bound and thrown into the burning fiery furnace because the king's order was urgent and the furnace was heated to excess. A tongue of flame killed of men who carried up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But those 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, dropped bound into the burning fiery furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rising in haste, addressed his companions and did we not throw 3 men bound into fire? They spoke and replied, surely, O king, he answered, but I see 4 men walking about, unbound and unharmed in the fire, and the 4th looked like a divine being. Nebuchadnezzar then approached the hatch of the burning fiery furnace and called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Servants of the Most High God, come out. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. The governors and officials and royal companions gathered around to look at those men, all whose body the fire had no effect, the hair of whose heads had not been singed, whose shirts looked no different, to whom not even the odor of fire clung. Nebuchadnezzar spoke up and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angels to save his servant, who trusting in him flaunted the king's decree at the risk of their lives, rather than serve or worship any god but their own God. I hereby give an order that anyone of any people, of nation, of whatever language, who blaspheme the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb and his house confiscated, for there is no other God. For you didn't hear me right, Israelite. For there is no other God. Let me say it again. For there is no other God who is able to save in this way. I believe in the unbelievable. Are you going to believe in the unbelievable? It's incredible. Exodus 16. Hold on. You're probably doing this now. No, I'm gonna go to Psalm. Excuse me. Okay, Psalm 78, verses 22 to 24. So he commanded the skies above. He opened the doors of heaven and rained manna upon them for food, giving them heavenly grain. Each man ate a hero's meal. He sent them provision in plenty. That is Exodus 16. I didn't want to read the whole thing. Manna from heaven. I believe the unbelievable. Hold on. Let's find another one. Imagine if I spent a lot of time writing this. This really would have been even more powerful. This is 13, 21. Exodus 13, 20, verse 20 and 21. They set out from Succoth and encamped at Etham at the edge of the wilderness. The Lord went before them in a pillar of cloud by day to guide them along the way, and in a pillar of fire by night to give them light, that they might travel day and night. So they didn't have to stop. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people. I believe in the unbelievable. I believe that occurred. I know it occurred. I'm here to remind you, Israelite, the power that you serve, the God that you serve. He created all flesh. There's nothing too hard for him. We believe the unbelievable, not like the rest of the world, the majority of the earth. No. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. No, I'm flipping. Hold on. Okay, hold on. One second. All right. All right, hold on. Hold on. Bear with me. Remember, I told you this is chicken scratch. All right, let me just start here. I'm going to start in Daniel chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 14. Remember, I can't read everything because I got too much here to read. Daniel chapter, and you guys have read your Tanakh like you're supposed to. You know, I don't have to start at the beginning. You should know right where I'm going to get into. Daniel chapter 6, verse 14. Thereupon they said to King, Daniel, one of the exiles of Judah, paid no heed to you, O king, or to the band that you put in writing 3 times a day. He offers his petition to his God. Upon hearing that, the king was very disturbed, and he set his heart upon saving Daniel, and until the sunset, made every effort to rescue him. Then those men came thronging into the king and said to the king, Know, O king, that it is the law of the Medes and Persians that any ban that the king issues under sanction of oath is unalterable. By the king's order, Daniel was then brought and thrown into the lion's den. The king spoke to Daniel and said, Your God, whom you serve so regularly, will deliver you. A rock was brought and placed over the mouth of the den. The king sealed it with his signet and with the signet of his nobles, so that nothing might be altered concerning Daniel. The king then went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No diversions were brought to him, and his sleep fled from him. Then, the first light of dawn, the king arose and rushed to the lion's den. As he approached the den, he cried to Daniel in a mournful voice. The king said to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the Lord God, was the God whom you serve so regularly able to deliver you from the lions? Daniel then talked with the king. O king, live forever. My God sent his angels who shut the mouth of the lions so that they did not injure me, inasmuch as I was found innocent by him, nor have I, O king, done you any injury. The king was very glad and ordered Daniel to be brought up out of the lion's den. Daniel was brought up out of the den, and no injury was found on him, for he had trusted in God. Then the king threw those people that made that accusation against him, threw them in the lion's den and all their families. And you know what happened to them. Lions that got toothpicks, picking them guys, kids out of between the lions' fangs. That's what happened. Okay, let me go to the next one. All right, I'm gonna breeze over this. You know what happened to Jonah? Go to Nineveh. And he's saying under his breath, I really don't like them people. I ain't going, man. Get on the boat starts going crazy, ocean. All the men on the boat are saying, hey, what's going on? Let's draw some straws and see who's the cause of this. And then Jonah gets the small end of the stick, the straw. He said, I confess it's me. Throw me overboard. Throw him overboard, the ocean calm. But he landed in the mouth of a whale. Somebody gonna say, that whale story. I made a video. Go check out my channel. I made a video about Jonah and the whale. This is a fairy tale, so you guys are make believe. Well, guess what? There's an account. There's literal account of somebody getting caught in one of the whale's mouths. Not a killer whale. There's a lot of different whales, and way bigger than an orca. And some of them real big whales don't eat meat and stuff. They eat like krill, little shrimpy things or whatever. And they got things in their mouths and their throats where big things can't go down. So Jonah landed in one of those guys' mouths. And there's actual record in the physical, in this one dimension that occurred. Believe the unbelievable. I didn't bother reading it to you because I don't even have verses. I just have chapters, and it's too much. You know, Joshua, when they were fighting and stuff, they needed more time. When you read Joshua chapter 10, the sun and the moon stayed still. Believe the unbelievable. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get to this one. Okay, hold on. Remember, I'm flipping. I'm flipping with chicken scratch notes. Let's keep 18. Let me see if I can just go right to it. Okay. 31. Come on. Okay, yeah, all right, I'm going to start. 1 Kings 18. 1 Kings 18. Correction, unbelievable. 1 Kings 18, I'm going to start on verse 36. And this is about God versus Baal. That's why, who's your enemy? He said he's going to be the enemy of your enemy. Our enemies, Esau and these demon Caucasians. Well, let's look at something that's unbelievable. But I believe in the unbelievable because I believe in our law and history book called the Tanakh, and I know the Most High changes not. 1 Kings 18. Where did I say I'm going to start? Yeah, let me just start at verse 30. No, let me start at verse 25. No, let me start at verse 22. Verse 22, 1 Kings 18. Then Elijah said to the people, I am the only prophet of the Lord left, while the prophets of Baal are 450 men. Let 2 young bulls be given to us. Let them choose one bull, cut it up, and lay it on wood, but let them not apply fire. I will prepare the other bull and lay it on wood and will not apply fire. You will then invoke your God by name, and I will invoke the Lord by name, and let us agree. The God who responds with fire, that one is God. And all the people answered, very good. Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose one bull and prepare it first, for you are the majority. Invoke your God by name, but apply no fire. They took the bull that was given them, they prepared it, and invoked Baal by the name from morning until noon, shouting, oh, Baal, answer us. But there was no sound. And I'm sorry I even mentioned that, but it's in the scripture, so I'm going to read that. But there was no sound, and none who responded. So they performed a hopping dance about the altar that had been set up. When noon came, Elijah mocked them, saying, shout louder. After all, he is a God, but he may be in conversation. He may be detained, or he may be on a journey, or perhaps he's asleep and will wake up. So they shouted louder and gnashed themselves with knives and spears according to their practice until blood streamed over them. When noon passed, they kept raving until the hour of presenting the meal offering. Still there was no sound and none who responded or heeded. Then Elijah said to all people, come closer to me. And all the people came closer to him. He repaired the damaged altar of the Lord. Then Elijah took 12 stones corresponding to the number of the 12 tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come. Israel shall be your name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. Around the altar he made a trench large enough for 2 seals of seeds. He laid out the wood, and he cut up the bull and laid on the wood. And he said, fill 4 jars with water and pour it all over the burnt offerings and the wood. Then he said, do it a second time. And they did it a second time. Do it a third time. He said, and they did it a third time. The water ran down around the altar, and even the trench was filled with water. When it was time to present the meal offering, the prophet Elijah came forward and said, O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Israel, came forward and said, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your bidding. Answer me, O Lord, answer me, that this people may know that you, O Lord, are God. For you have turned their hearts backwards. Then fire from the Lord descended and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stone, and the earth, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. When they saw this, all the people flung themselves on their faces and cried out, the Lord alone is God. The Lord alone is God. Believe the unbelievable. Do you believe it? Especially in this time, do you believe? Here at Hebron Island too, I believe. Let me go to this one and see if this one is short. If I can make it short. I told you this one's, we don't spend a lot of time glorifying and magnifying the Most High, remembering his works. For you people that are, he's taking to get out of here. It's not for you. Oh, that was the wrong one. 2 Kings. Bear with me. Remember, I'm looking at. Okay. 2 Kings 5, I'm going to read from verse 13. 2 Kings 5:13. But a servant came forward and spoke to him, Sir, they said, if the prophet told you to do something difficult, would you do it? How much more when he has only said to you, bathe and be clean? So he went down and immersed himself in the Jordan 7 times as the man of God had bidden, and his flesh became like a little boy, and he was clean. Returning with his entire regiment to the man of God, he stood before him and exclaimed, now I know that there is no God in the whole world except in Israel. Let me read that opinion. Nahum from Persia, Persian army, who had leprosy. That's what I'm reading in 2 Kings 5. And after he dunked himself, 7 times in the Jordan, as Elisha the prophet said, go do it. When the king of Judah said, hey, they're telling us they think that we can make leprosy go away. And Elisha, remember, he said he got a double portion of Elijah's blessing. He said, King, don't worry. Send his ass to my house. Nahum, the military commander of Persia, came, saw him. He said, go dip yourself 7 times in the Jordan River. And he was like, why should I do that? There's more cleaner rivers where I come. His son said, yo, be quiet and listen to him. He went in, leprosy went away. Believe the unbelievable. And then this is what Nahum said. He says, now I know that there is no God in the whole world except in Israel. And he says, so please accept these gifts for communicating with your creator to make me clean of leprosy. Do you believe the unbelievable? These are gonna be a good one. All right. You're gonna like this one. 2 Kings 8. 2 Kings 13. Hold on. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one. Yeah. See, I get excited. They're like, why he's getting excited? He's just reading the scripture. The only way I can get excited is the Most High is giving me that excitement to show me how important this is. To believe the unbelievable. That he's unbelievable. There's none like that. In 2 Samuel chapter 7, the Israelites heard with their ears. There's none else but the Most High. There's none like the Most High. It's unbelievable. 2 Kings 13. 2 Kings 13. Let me see where I can start. Yeah, let me start with verse 14. I'm going to read some of this. I'm going to read some of this because I think you forgot about this. I'm here to make you remember. 2 Kings chapter 13, I'm going to start with verse 14. Elisha, that's the protege of Elijah, who got the double portion, who asked for the double portion, and got it of Elijah's power. Elijah had been stricken with illness. Now, look at Job, a whole bunch of guys. Hezekiah, a whole bunch of guys said, my bones feel like they're being crushed by lions. They're going through illness, pains, problems. So Israelite, just because the Most High put the feeling, the desire to love Him and seek Him and fear Him, doesn't mean that we're going to escape everything. We're not. Remember, we're in a test. 2 Kings, Elisha, don't you think he's one of the favorite? 2 Kings, and he didn't escape. So don't think you're going to escape, and I don't escape. You go through things, and I go through things too. I just try to be stoic. Like I knew I tried to remind me of my own video about stoicism. Keep my mouth shut. 2 Kings 13, start at verse 14. Elisha had been stricken with the illness of which he was to die. And King Joash of Israel went down to see him. He wept over him and cried, Father, Father, Israel, chariots and horsemen. Elisha said to him, get a bow and an arrow. And he brought him a bow and arrow. Then he said to the king of Israel, grasp the bow. And when he had grasped it, Elisha put his hand over the king's hand, opened the window toward the east. He said, and he opened it. Elisha said, shoot. And he shot. Then he said, an arrow of victory for the Lord, an arrow of victory over Aram. You shall rout Aram completely at Ephah. So to believe the unbelievable things, hold it, but I want to get to the meat of the matter. Hold on, where is it at? Where are you at? Yeah. Okay. 2 Kings 13, still talking about Elisha. We start at verse 20. Elisha died. So he's loved by the Most High. That don't mean when somebody dies, they're wicked. Of course, Esau and the heathens, yeah, but doesn't mean that. The Most High, his plan, he has a plan. 2 Kings chapter 13, verse 20. Elisha died and he was buried. Now, bands of Moabites used to invade the land at the coming of every year. Once a man was being buried when the people caught sight of such a band. So they threw the corpse into Elisha's grave and made off because they saw the army coming. When the dead man came in contact with Elisha's bones, he came to life and stood up again. Believe the unbelievable. Somebody said, oh, that's a crazy story. Let me read it again. Elisha died and he was buried. Now, bands of Moabites used to invade the land at the coming of every year. Once a man was being buried when the people caught sight of such a band. That's the Israelites. They were burying somebody. And then they saw the band of Moabites coming. When the people caught sight of such a band, so they threw the corpse into Elisha's grave and made off. When the dead man came in contact with Elisha's bones, he came to life and stood up. Believe the unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me, I'm skipping now. I'm gonna have to skip because this is gonna be long. Let me go to this one. I'm just gonna go. Let me just try to do a few interesting more, and then we'll read whatever little things are. There's, I think it's 22. I'll tell you in 1 second. 22. 22. Okay, 22, there's 21. Okay, yeah. Numbers 22, 21. Numbers chapter 22, verse 21. When he arose in the morning, Balaam saddled his ass and departed with the Moabite dignitaries. But God was incensed at his going. So the angel of the Lord placed himself in his way as an adversary. He was riding on his she-ass donkey with his two servants alongside. When the ass caught sight of the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in hand, the ass swerved from the road and went into the field, and Balaam beat the ass to turn her back onto the road. The angel of the Lord then stationed himself in the lane between the vineyard and the fence on either side. The ass, seeing the angel of the Lord, pressed herself against the wall and squeezed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he beat her again. Once more, the angel of the Lord moved forward and stationed himself on a spot so narrow that there was no room to swerve right or left. When the ass now saw the angel of the Lord, she laid down under Balaam. And Balaam was furious and beat the ass with his stick. The Lord opened the ass, the donkey's mouth, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times?" Balaam said to the ass, "You have made a mockery of me. If I had a sword with me, I'll kill you." The ass said to Balaam, "Look, I am the ass that you have been riding all along until this day. Have I been in the habit of doing thus to you?" He answered, "No." Then the Lord uncovered Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, his drawn sword in hand. Thereupon he bowed right down to the ground. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you beaten your ass these 3 times? It is I who came out as an adversary for the errand too obnoxious to me. And when the ass saw me, she shied away because of me those 3 times. If she had not shied away from me, you are the one I should have killed." Do you believe the unbelievable? Animals chopping it up. Hold on. I'm showing you the power of the Most High. The regular people on the earth are not going to believe this. But are you going to believe this? First Kings. Whew. First Kings. 17. All right, First Kings 17:46. Okay. First Kings chapter 17. Elijah the Tishbite, an inhabitant of Gilead, and to Ahab, "As the Lord lives, the God of Israel, whom I serve, there will be no dew or rain except at my bidding." The word of the Lord came unto him, "Leave this place, turn eastward, and go into hiding by the Wadi," that's the water, Cherith, which is east of the Jordan. "You will drink from the Wadi, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." He proceeded to do as the Lord had bid. He stayed by the Wadi Cherith, which is east of the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat every morning and every evening, and he drank from the Wadi. First Kings 17. Do you believe the unbelievable? You know, ravens, they snatch things from people everywhere. But they brought him bread and meat every day. You know, there's this guy who's a herbalist. He believes in a whole bunch of different things and Israelite stuff, but he's like messianic, but he believes a whole bunch of stuff. And he said we just need to be fruitarians, like just eat fruit, like from the garden and stuff. We're not supposed to eat meat and all this other stuff. Listen, stay in your lane. You know about herbs and stuff. I know about herbs too, not as good as you. But one thing the Most High has allowed me to know is to be a Kohelet, the teacher, preacher of the book of wisdom. You're not a jack of all trades. We just read one of the most, one in the list of the top 10 or the top group that the Most High favors and love. Elijah is one of them. Elijah didn't even die. He took him. And if we are only what's supposed to be eating fruit and fruit water and no more meat or any bread or anything else, of course they poison everything, but I'm just saying in general, in context, why would he give one of his beloveds, send the ravens to bring him bread and meat and not apples, plums, grapes, cherries, prunes? The ravens wasn't bringing that. The ravens were bringing bread and meat, and he had the wadi, which is water. Do you believe the unbelievable? All right. Let me read this one on Dagon, because I want to read this one on Dagon. Hold on. So much. And, I'm going to be nice, and I'm not going to read. I'm going to just do a couple more, and that's it, because I know it's late. First Samuel chapter 5. First Samuel 5, verse 1. First Samuel chapter 5. When the Philistines captured the ark of God, they brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. The Philistines took the ark of God and brought it into in the temple of Dagon, and they set it up beside Dagon. They put the ark of the covenant, the holy article of the Creator, right next to a demon, pagan, heathen, no deity. Philistines took the ark of God and brought it into the temple of Dagon, and they set it up beside Dagon. Early the next day, the Ashdodites found Dagon lying face down on the ground in front of the ark of the Lord. They picked Dagon up and put him back in his place. But early the next morning, Dagon was again laying prone on the ground in front of the ark of the Lord. The head and both hands of Dagon were cut off, laying on the threshold only. Dagon's trunk was left intact. That is why to this day the priests of Dagon and all who enter the temple of Dagon do not tread on the threshold of Dagon in the Ashdod. Do you believe the unbelievable? He sends it to everybody. Hold on, let me see. Let me see this one. Hold on. Let me see this one. There's so many. I don't know which ones to do. I don't know which ones to do. Hold on. Let me see. This is a good one. First Kings 17. Hold on. 23. Oh, that's why. The wrong one. You know what happens when you start rushing? Okay. First Kings 7. After a while, the son of the mistress of the house fell sick, and his illness grew worse until he had no breath left in him. She said to Elijah, "What harm have I done you, O man of God, that you should come here to recall my sin and cause the death of my son? Give me the boy," he said to her. And taking him from her arms, he carried him to the upper chamber where he was staying and laid him down on his own bed. He cried out to the Lord and said, "O Lord, my God, you will bring calamity upon this widow whose guest I am, and let her son die?" Then he stretched out over the child 3 times and cried out to the Lord, saying, "O Lord, my God, let this child's life return to his body." The Lord heard Elijah's pleas. The child's life returned to his body and revived. Elijah picked up the child and brought him down from the upper room into the main room and gave him to his mother. "See," said Elijah, "your son is alive." And the woman answered Elijah, "Now I know that you are a man of God, that the word of the Lord is truly in your mouth." Do you believe the unbelievable? And listen, there's just so much. There's writing on walls, confusion at Tower of Babel. Aaron's rod blossoms into flowers and stuff. Samson destroys a lion when he was young. Before he went home, he didn't tell anybody. In Second Kings, they were going hungry. There was hundreds of people hungry, and he just brought 20 loaves. Remember, they copy the New Testament, plagiarizes the Old Testament. In Second Kings, so many people were hungry, and one guy said, "Well, here, feed them," and he gave 20 loaves of bread. He said, "I'm going to feed all these hundreds with 20 loaves." And then he says, "Don't worry, there'll be food, there'll be bread left over." Do you believe in the unbelievable? The Most High multiplied it. See, they actually seen it with their eyes, But he's not going to let you see it with your eye. You got all different tests. It was a different time period. Me and this one person we talk about, like if we were there, we're role playing, like if we were there with Moses, Joshua, Caleb, Aaron, and Moses. All right, I'm going up to get the commandments and talk to the Creator. Be ready when I come down. And as soon as he leaves, these niggas acting niggerish, they go and tell Aaron, here's all these earrings and jewel gold things that the Most High made them give us. Here, take it, melt it down, make us a golden calf. Me and this one person I always talk to say, yo, we wouldn't be with them. We wouldn't be with them. We'd be like, yo, you ain't supposed to do that. They'd be like, F you niggas. You know, what we do is we'll run away from them and run up. We can't go all the way up there, but we'll run close and we'll be like, Moses, they doing it again. They rebelling again. Come down. We don't want no part of it. We ain't with them. Telling on their ass immediately. Right? So the one that I was going to read to you, when the earth opened up and swallowed them. Because I would have been one, and somebody that I know would have been another one that would have told him, yo, you ain't supposed to be doing that. There's one God. 1 Samuel chapter 7, you're going to return back to the Most High, with your whole heart, put away the strange God and serve him alone. Isaiah 46, you are God and there's none else. You are divine and there's none like you. You know the ending from the beginning. You know it's the coming. All your plans shall be fulfilled. There's only one. He said, I thought to blot out your transgression for my sake. Beside me, there's none, no other God. I'm the only one that led you in the wilderness. No strange God by my side. Me and this person would have been running up the hill, first telling them, pointing at him like, you niggas, stop. Oh, you ain't stopping? They'd be probably throwing rocks and spears at us while we trying to get up that mountain. Not all the way up, because we know we had to obey the rules. Hey, Moses, niggas. We don't even have to say nothing. We just say, niggas is acting niggerish. You know, and then he come down, and then the earth opened up and swallowed them. Numbers chapter 16, read it for yourself. You know, you remember Lot's wife turned to salt. Don't look back, don't look back. And I said I was going to be nice to you, Negroes. But you know, to me, a new Yeshua Israel, and I wrote this chicken scratch with a lot of stuff on it. Believe the unbelievable, Israelite. But you know what came to me when I was closing and writing? This came to me. To me, a new Yeshua Israel, the most amazing thing to me is that the Most High chose the most stiff-necked, the most rebellious, scorpion rebel people on the earth, to love them, to make an everlasting covenant with them, to tell them, out of all the families of the earth, I only know Israel. You are above all the people on the face of the earth. You are my peculiar treasure. I only dwell in the midst of Israel. I only dwell in the midst of the children of Israel. When I looked upon them, I had respect unto them. He said, I had a delight in your fathers to love them and their seed after them. So that's so amazing to me. To believe the unbelievable, that he could love stiff-necked rebels. And I know, and I say this, I want to live by the words that I say. You know, like with the heathen Gentiles, you know, I said there's only a small percentage, 1%, 3%, 5%, 10%. You know, if they offer you 3%, we're going to give you, when you go shopping, we're going to give you 3%. You were like, man, keep that. I can't even see it. Yeah, you can get it, but you don't see it. So it's not even worth getting. Like, don't even mention it. So, you know, probably out of the heathen Gentiles, there's probably 1%, 3%, 5%, 10% of them that are good. But the percentage is so small, it's not even worth mentioning. Well, guess what with the Israelites? There was probably 1%, 3%, 5%, which are the prophets, major and minor, and other good Hebrew Israelites. They're coming back. Ezekiel 34, Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel 39, they're coming back. But that's a small percentage out of the majority of the Israelites. So don't even count them. So when I say the most amazing thing to me, the most unbelievable thing to me, that he put his love upon us, that he listened to Moses. Moses said, don't wipe them all out in Egypt, because they're going to try to make a mockery. They just brought him out to kill him. And Moses said, I don't change. I made a vow with Abraham for his seeds, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel, which are only the niggers who been scattered to the four corners of this flat earth. So that's what stood out to me. The most unbelievable thing is, and for you need to think, the most unbelievable thing is that he opened your eyes. He decided to. In Isaiah 44, he says, for they have not known or understood. He says, I close their eyes so they can't see, their ears so they can't hear. The most unbelievable thing is that he opened your eyes. Anuha, that one dude, Robert Axstar, James Hardy, Avi India, Biblically Vesticle, Shark Tank, Gloric 8, Young King. He opened your eyes. Because in Jeremiah 50, he said, I'm going to decide who I will allow to survive. You're only surviving right now and making it is because of the Most High. How unbelievable is that? That's why I made this video. Believe the unbelievable. Because all these other things that I read to you and showed you is unbelievable. But since I know myself and since you know yourself, you know it's unbelievable that he chose me to save me. To open my eyes so I can see, my ears so I can hear his glorious covenant, his laws, to strive to do them every day, so that I can strive for undivided loyalty to the Most High and not be proscribed at the end because I serve another God. This is a new Yeshua Israel. He were on the island too. Get the Most High's nature. He were on the island too. Until next time. Let me and thanks for you guys staying in there with me. Hopefully this was edifying. I'm just seeing if anybody wrote anything outside of the greetings. Doing good, great to see you. Okay. Same wise or prince. All things he's done, King. Yep, all things he's done. Striving for purity and becoming one house, striving for pure love, for brothers, vex. The Leviathan written. Yep, listen, that's what the Leviathan written in the Holy Tanakh exists in the deepest part of the ocean, and man cannot get to this part of the ocean. Correct? Believe the unbelievable. I believe that. A Leviathan is down there getting ready to get busy when we come to the end. The Most High is no one to fool around with. What's good, my people? Correction. Right now, I'm using a trash Android that won't let me sign in my main account for some reason unless I'm using an updated phone. This phone. Yeah, I have a Samsung Galaxy J4. I have a super old phone. Okay, I will lift you up in prayer. All right, Most High, help that one dude get a better cell phone. It doesn't have to be new. I always buy used ones, refurbished ones, and they've been good. This Samsung J4 is refurbished. I had it already like 2-3 years already, and I bought it used, and I've had it already years. Why it's called a live event that took place in the Holy Tanakh gave me chills. All praise to the Most High. Listen, edifying outstanding lesson called all praise to the Most High. This is the new Yeshua Israel. He on the island too. Until next time. Believe the unbelievable.